and I am going to dive into this team call because, so welcome everyone to the Successfit team call. It is August 8th. I just kind of can't believe that. I mean, yeah, it's just, time just kind of whips by. I feel like 2017 has gone by so quickly. We're in the second half of the year, but I'm excited for tonight's call. And before I dive into it, I just wanted to kind of highlight a few things that I was looking at in both in the, now I'm losing what it's called. In the Coach Online office, there's the sort of breaking news area and a couple things that have popped up. One, they announced an official date for Clean Week, which is basically they've created a kind of a free group for us to use that is in front of the Beachbody On Demand sign up, right? So it's by the new trainer from the 20s, Megan, and it's like a week of workouts that people don't have to put their credit card information in for, and it gives them like eating plan and everything, and we're going to be able to use that as a way to help people in a free group that we do. Also, if you didn't see there's a new leader conference that they offer every year. It used to be something that you had to be a 2-star diamond to achieve. You only got to go once, like the year you go 2-star diamond, you get invited to the next one as a new leader. It's an amazing, amazing session, and they've opened it up to 1-star diamonds this year. So 1-star diamond is certainly something that you can be going for, and I think that's an exciting thing. So if that's a goal that you have, I think you have to reach it maybe by November or December. Make sure that you reach out and message me if you want to work specifically on that goal, because it's very doable for everything. And, I think we talk a lot about diamond, and I'm going to talk about that in a second, and moving your organization to that level of diamond. But really, I think where your business takes root, where your income really starts to grow, is 2-star. So that's where you want to be like thinking long-term, is how do I build an organization to that point? So anyway, that's a very exciting thing that's happening. It's big news, along with that, the diamond bonus. I don't know if you heard them announce that at Summit. There's some really cool things being announced. Make sure you check out the breaking news because they share some of the things. And the last thing I wanted to bring up in terms of housekeepers like this is I wanted to remind you about the Diamond Retreat and re-invite you all to be there at this Diamond Retreat. And this is something, this will be our third Successfit Diamond Retreat that we're all hosting. It'll be hosted in the winter here in Arizona, and it's for anyone who achieves the rank of diamond by November 1st this year and holds it through the rest of the year. And this is a very achievable goal. It's just about sort of committing to some of the things that I'm going to talk about tonight. And if this is something that you really want, it's been an incredible retreat. I think you can ask, I think, Erica, I think you're still maybe signed into my account because it says you're me. So it's not just me typing, but Erica's saying amazing.
Sorry.
And I know if you talk to any of the diamonds who were there last year or the year before, I think they'll all agree it's an amazing, a rewarding trip, an opportunity for us to learn from each other and just create bonds. And, the first one was great, but last year's was even better. It was so fun. We had a great time, and it's really an opportunity for us to celebrate and learn and grow together as a team. So I hope that that's something that you have on your on your mind every day, on your heart, and that you're aiming for in your business, because you can achieve this, and it is absolutely worth it to get there. And if you want help with it, make sure you're reaching out and asking for help, and make sure you're following the most important things in your business, which is what we're going to talk about next. So I wanted to go through a few things tonight because I think that on this journey, we can get very overwhelmed by all the things, all the options for us, right? I did a live video today talking about that in terms of our own health and fitness, that people get really overwhelmed by all the options, all the things, all the opportunities, all the ways to eat, all the ways not to eat, all the ways to work out, all the ways not to work out. And we get into that paralysis analysis. When the reality is, in this business, like in our health and fitness, there's a very clear path to success. You just need to walk it. And I wanted to kind of walk you through this to help you decrease overwhelm, and also recognize in yourself is this a hobby for me or is this a business? And it's okay if hobby is where you're at. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But if your goal is to make this a business, to make ripples in the world, whatever your mission and vision are, then this is the path that you need to get there, or what's really helped me get there. And that's what I wanted to cover, because we all know the vital behaviors. We hear a lot about that. There's a vital process they've talked about, and this kind of connects that. So tonight I want to give you the 4 things that I believe are the pillars, the 4 pillars in your path towards success. And I really think they need to go in this order. So number 1, the first pillar in your path to success is a vision. And this is something that took me too long to figure out, I think, but has become more and more critical and more like prevalent to me, that it's such an important part of what I'm creating here and what I'm trying to do. And I believe if I had understood this earlier on, that my business would have taken off a lot faster. And the top coaches I speak with and the coaches who are seeing success, this is something that they have locked in on: vision. And what your vision is where you want to go in this business, how you want it to have an impact on your life, where you want to go in not just in your business, but in your health, in your family, in your life with this business. You need to create that vision. And you need to do it because I heard this quote today and I thought it was amazing. So I thought I'd use it in here. Leaders are dealers of hope. And in order for us to step into this as a business and create hope for other people in living a life, like for me, my whole mission is to really help empower other women recognize the value in themselves and equip them with tools to love themselves and to see the value in that and to let go of what society has told us. So when I'm out there and I'm talking about this vision, I'm able to spread that hope and give people tools to use that for themselves going forward. And that's what we're trying to do. If you're not out there dealing hope, teaching people what they can do, that is what allows us to move people forward and inspire people into that next level. So where do you want to go? And we want to create that hope with other people. And I think we get into a lot of roadblocks in creating our vision. And for me, some of those roadblocks are not taking the time to think about what it is that I want, being scared of creating a vision, not looking at my vision every single day. But the reality is if we don't have a bigger vision, any business, any journey towards success, whether it's in our fitness, whether it's something else in our life, whether it's this, creating this business and this mission, if we don't have vision, then what's going to happen when you run out of steam, when you lose that initial motivation that comes along with like, oh, I'm going to, have the freedom of running my own business. And I'm going to help all these people. And I'm so excited. If you don't have mission or vision, what are you thinking about that's getting you out of bed first thing in the morning at 4:30, 4:45, so that you can get your workout in before other people wake up, so that you can get your power hour in before you go to bed at night? That's what your vision is all about. It's something that's going to internally motivate you and also externally cast hope to the people that are following you. So my takeaway action for you when it comes to this vision is ask yourself this question: where do I want my life to be in 5 years? What do I want it to look like in my health, in my life, and in my business? And carve out some time to do this. Ask yourself this question and get very real about it, because we all know that every decision we're making is either making us move closer towards our goals or further away towards our goals. So if we don't know what our goals are every day, if we don't know what that vision is and we're not moving towards that every single day, then we're moving away from it. So my action item for you in this first pillar of your path to success is write down your vision. Take that time. And if it becomes clearer one day, add to it. And it needs to get put somewhere that you think about it every day. If you're forgetting about your vision, set an alarm in your phone to remind yourself to look at your vision. Because I'll tell you, I remember when I was, in the early years of this, for me, it'll be almost 4 years for me doing the coaching now. But in those early years when my husband was kind of like, what are you doing here? And when my friends were silent, and when I still had my own self-doubts, it was that vision of what I wanted my life to look like that got me out of bed when my alarm went off in the morning. And I think so I had that vision for myself, and what I wasn't doing very well early on was casting it out to other people and understanding what I'm creating. And getting used to casting that vision out to other people is what's going to attract people to you and help them understand what you're trying to do here. So that's pillar number 1. Pillar number 2 is prioritization. So I remember, I think our first winter back in Toronto, we were invited to Mike's Christmas party, and it was just the executive team. So it was a small group. So there were 4 of the executive team and their wives. And I remember talking to the CEO of the company he works for, and he, and I was, asking about his activities, like, oh, so you're into health and fitness. And I was a baby coach. And I'm like, yeah. I didn't know what to say. And I was really insecure, of course, about it. And I'm like, yeah, I love working out every day. And his wife works out every day at the gym and all this. And I was like, what do you do? And he's like, well, I don't really have a lot of time for that anymore. I've got a family and I've got a big job. And I have, I really feel like there's only time for 2 things in my life to do really well. And at first I was like, I think you're wrong. But the more I've thought about it over the years, I think we have time in our lives to prioritize 3 things. Family is always going to be one of them. Many of us have other careers that we either love or that we need in order to create income until we build this one. What's your 3rd priority? Because I believe that if this is not one of your top 3 priorities, creating this business or that's moving you towards your vision of the life that you want, then it's just a hobby. And again, that's okay. But recognizing that this is something that in order to create a significant business, it takes time and effort and energy every single day in a it doesn't have to be the number 1 that day. It doesn't have to be the number 2 that day, but it's got to be something you get to every single day. If it's not one of those 3 priorities, I don't want to say it's never going to happen, but I've seen a lot of coaches come and go. It's probably going to be very hard for you to make this a significant thing if you're not making your health and this business. And the cool thing I have to say is that for this CEO, he was saying, I don't have time for my health. Well, for us, our health and our business gets to be one priority. We don't have a successful business if we're not making our health a priority. So we get to amalgamate that priority for ourselves. So we have our family, we've got maybe our other career or something else in our life that's really important, and we have this, and it needs to be that priority. So my action, I think that our roadblock in this is that it hasn't become a habit, or it's not something we're scared to make it that priority. We don't want to tell other people. We don't want to impose it and change the lives of maybe our spouses or our family. So we try to do it when we can, in little cracks and crevices here and there, which I think in a way this business needs to be built that way in the beginning. However, if you really want to make this a priority, my action item is for you to create that plan and share it with your loved ones, because they need to understand that this is a priority for you and what your vision is, what you're working towards, and that you want to make it happen. And then I went live in Successfit, I think, last week, and just to talk about spousal support, because I think that when it comes to sharing our plan and getting your partner on board, one, you have to be really good about prioritizing this and knowing okay, well, here are my 2 hours that I'm working this business 5 days a week, or whatever it might be for you. Can you get on board with that and staying within those 2 hours, not being on your phone 24/7? And then getting it done, showing them that you will do this and you will follow through on your promises to yourself. Because it gets very discouraging for ourselves and for our partners if we ask of them to help us prioritize this or to give us this opportunity to prioritize it, and then we don't follow through on those promises. So prioritization, and as I said, that's my action item, is that you must create your plan and share it with your loved ones, because that's the only way that it's going to become a habit. Okay, the 3rd pillar is implementation. So we have this amazing vision. We've decided this is the time that we are committed to carving out for it. Now we need to implement this plan. And for me, implementation is another piece of kind of our commitment to what we're doing here. It's like, we have all these ideas and now we want to actually put it into action. And, two parts of implementation. One are our vital behaviors. So we must work out every day and be that product of the product. If we're not showing progress or we're not showing the proof in the products, then people are never going to believe us that they work. And then the other piece of the implementation, of course, is expanding your network, inviting and connecting and inviting with people, engaging, building relationships. And that's what we call our power hour. And that is how we implement, is by making sure we're doing our vital behaviors every day and doing our power hour 5 days a week. And I think the roadblocks that come in the way for people here is fear. First of all, like, a lot of people are scared to do some of these things, and we sit down and we have a great plan and we can't implement them because we're so scared. And I think that the second piece of it is that we don't know what to do. And we haven't created, like, even though we prioritized, we said we're going to do this, we haven't actually set in our schedule, made time in our schedule for us to implement. Because I think we get, as I said, we get really scared when it comes to inviting, we get scared about what we're doing. But if you have that vision and you're prioritizing this and you're truly sharing your journey and what you're working towards in this, then implementing is just about saying, okay, here are my business hours and here are the things I must do. Writing down that list. So your action item is to create your list of what you need to do every single day. And create your schedule. So you can do that whenever you want. For me, what works is Sunday mornings. Sundays are my rest day. I get up at the exact same time and I use that time, that 45 minutes that I would have worked out, to create my plan for the week. And maybe that's certainly when I'm going to work out, when I'm going to do my power hour. If there's meal planning I need to do, which we all know is not my strength, but I still try to do it. So that's my action item for you. And that's the third pillar, is implementation. And the last pillar is skill. So these first three pillars are all about commitment. And the interesting piece about them is that no one can do them but you. If you don't commit to your business, if you don't commit to creating a vision and prioritizing that vision and implementing the tasks it takes to make that vision come to fruition, like, that's all you. Just like it's all me. This is all I can do. No one can do it for me. I got to do it. So that's your commitment part. The fourth pillar is skill. And what I love about skill is that every single thing it takes to do this business, if you can lock in these first three, if you can commit to the first three pillars, the skill can come. It can be something we develop and work on. But unless you do these first three things, myself as your coach, just like, in your challenge groups, I can't help you figure out what skill you need to work on, because we don't know. You haven't followed the process towards success. And I think the same goes for our challengers, right? If our challengers come in, if a challenger is like, oh, it's just not working, or I'm not losing weight, or I'm gaining weight, or I'm bloated, and you're like, okay, well, what did you eat? Well, I ate this and I don't really know, I didn't track it. And you're like, okay, well, what was your workout yesterday? Or did you do all your workouts? Well, I had to take a rest day this day. And instead of doing the scheduled workout, I went for a walk. I mean, we all have those challengers. It's very hard for us to coach them if they're not following the process to success. We all have this, we give this to them. It's like, this is what you invested in, and I'm here to help you stay accountable to that. And then you can help them with that skill. It's like, okay, well, if you're following the workouts, like, let's take a look at what, how hard are you pushing? How much weight are you, using? Are you doing the extra abs, or are you not? And we can help them work on the skill, but not if they're not following the process. And the same goes for this. I would say, like, our roadblocks in terms of creating a skill is overwhelm. We think we start down one path of working on something, of doing our power hour, and then, we get all these messages and we write these people, and then we think, I better do my personal development, and I learn all this stuff, and then instead of implementing that, I go and I learn something else, and there's a national wake-up call, and I better listen to that. And so we get very overwhelmed, and that's one of the biggest roadblocks, I think, to skill development. So I think that your best my best tip and my best action item for you with your skill is to pick one thing and do it really well until it has become that habit. And I think that for every coach, before you go creating a business page, before you go even running free groups, before you go spending any money on ads, the most important things that you do are locking down these first 3 steps. Because then we can see where you need to improve your skill, and you can find the right personal development to improve that skill, and you can work with your personally sponsored coach to improve that skill, and you can take a look at yourself and say, okay, well, this is the next thing I need to understand is I'm doing all these things and no one's engaging with my posts. Well, okay, this is the skill we need to work on. Where people are engaging and they say they want to join, and then we get caught up in our conversation and it never goes anywhere. Well, okay, this is the skill we need to work on. But if you don't do these first 3 things consistently, the biggest issue, I think, is that consistency piece, because they all play on the next piece. There's holes like Swiss cheese in your business. That's what I have for you guys tonight. And those are the 4 pillars, I'd say, in the path to success. And the more committed you can be to this vital path, to these 4 different things, to knowing your vision, and being really clear on it and letting it fuel your fire every single day, and prioritizing that business and implementing the basic things we must do for our business every single day, the easier it's going to be for us to do that 4th pillar, which is work on the skill and get better in all the areas, which then makes our success better. It should drive up your Success Club points. It should allow you to help more people and convert them into coaches and teach them the same thing that you're doing. But without those first 3 in that order, it's going to be tough for any coach to coach you and for you to improve upon yourself, because you'll kind of be lost and not knowing what you're doing. Does anyone have any questions on that? I see a few things pop up over here. Okay, I love that people are in for the Diamond Retreat. It's all the diamonds saying that they're coming to the Diamond Retreat. You better be coming to the Diamond Retreat. What about you non-diamonds? You should be coming to the Diamond Retreat. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. It is, Erica says it's so much common sense. And the thing is, it is, but we get really caught up, I think, in all the things that we can do. And so our common sense meter, and we have life. Like, we're all very busy people. This is not the only priority we have. But it needs to be one of those top 3. And this needs to be something you carve out time for every day. If what you want is creating a business that's significant, that builds a 6-figure income and beyond, that makes an impact in the lives of thousands. We're about to open up in a whole entire new massive market, like in another continent. And you have the opportunity to connect and help all of those people and capitalize on that as well. But it's not going to happen if you can't lock down these 4 things. And you can do it. It's just about creating that vision and being very consistent and committed to what you're trying to do here. Oh, good. I'm so glad it was helpful, you guys. Sharon says, you nailed it when you said overwhelming. Yeah. And I think that I go through that too, especially with this journey, my move here, there were lots of overwhelming moments. And I just thought, I have to scale back. I only have 1 challenge group going. I didn't do any extra coach groups. This is these are the things you have to do. And when life gets busy and your pendulum needs to swing somewhere else, like we talked about last week, then you go back to the basics. And when your pendulum swings into your business land and you're like, my kids are good, my life is good, my job's moving easy, I can do more, then you do more. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for hopping on tonight. I hope this was helpful. And again, I always want to try to share content with you guys that is going to be valuable for you. I'm hoping to have someone else be speaking next week on the team call. So you're not just hearing from me, but if there is a skill you want to work on because you've figured it out in your business, let's work on that skill, either one-on-one or in this team call. I'm happy to share what's working for me. And reach out and set a goal for that Diamond Retreat. Even if for some reason it's not going to fit into your schedule, this is where you need to be moving towards in your business. And all it takes is commitment and consistency and passion, which comes from your vision. Have a great night, you guys. I'm just going to ask, there's a few people who need to stay on. Krista, Lainey, Chrissy, Jane, I don't know if you're on, just to talk about the art of recruiting stuff. But thank you guys so much. And I will post the recording as soon as I can. Have an amazing night, you guys.